Well, the next time you pour a glass of milk or slather some butter on a piece of toast or slice into a big hunk of cheese, you can feel good. That's because a new study shows that a full fat dose of dairy can do wonders for your health. And we have an expert here to explain on the behalf of our sponsor, United Dairy Industry of Michigan. Dr. Ann Agler is Senior Vice President of Nutrition Research with the National Dairy Council. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me here today, Tati. Looking forward to talking about dairy with you.
And I'm looking forward to learning. So, what does the latest dairy research say exactly?
Yeah, so we have a fantastic study that just published at the end of May, and it's a really interesting study because, first of all, it's a huge study. About 150,000 people from 21 countries, 5 different continents, and what the study really was looking at is how dairy contributes to a healthy diet and helps reduce the risk of disease. And what we found was that people eating at least 2 servings of dairy per day had a lower risk of developing high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes, and were less likely to have metabolic syndrome. And metabolic syndrome is if you have 3 out of 5 conditions that include high blood pressure, abdominal obesity, low HDL cholesterol, that's the good cholesterol, high triglycerides, or high blood glucose. So if you have 3 out of those 5, your doctor may classify you as having metabolic syndrome, and that puts you at greater risk for heart disease. So it's a really important thing, and dairy helps prevent those diseases.
Oh, wow. So, does this mean that people should consider changing their grocery shopping and how they eat?
That's a great question. It's always important to think about how does this apply to me? And I think the important message was the prevention benefit was higher for people who were eating 3 servings per day of dairy. So if you're not getting your recommended 3 servings a day, which is what U.S. dietary guidelines call for, you should think about incorporating more dairy. And I think the other important message from this study was that high-fat dairy actually did a better job of preventing disease than did low-fat dairy. So, while the dietary recommendations call for low-fat dairy, there is flexibility, and you should consider, especially if it will help you do a better job of eating your servings of dairy, go for the stuff you really love that tastes great. I myself, this is my breakfast here. It's full-fat Greek yogurt with some berries and some nuts, and that's a very healthy option.
Yeah, I mean, the full fat does taste really, really good. So I do understand that part of it. But what are your recommendations when it comes to diet trends?
So I really, I'm a scientist. I have a PhD in nutrition. I always say follow the research, follow the science, make sure you're doing things that are fact-based. And one of the important things that we know from research is that 9 out of 10 people don't get their 3 servings of dairy per day, and they don't get their servings of vegetables every day. And great news about those is that they pair really well together. So think about your classic broccoli and cheese sauce or cauliflower and cheese sauce. Great options. Other things, fruit and yogurt like I have for breakfast. Whole grains go great with different dairy products as well. We've got some toast here and some cottage cheese. All really good options to make sure you're getting an overall healthy diet with those 3 servings of dairy and flexibility on fat to contribute to that diet.
This is awesome information. So where can people learn more?
There are a couple of really great websites that have fantastic information. The United Dairy Industry of Michigan has a great website, www.milkmeansmore.org, and they have awesome recipes on there, great nutrition information. They've got a frozen tropical smoothie that looks great, and also usdairy.com, and that's the national website for the dairy industry, and you can find awesome information too there about nutrition and recipes.
Well, thanks for all the great information and for joining us today. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Tati.
And for all kinds of recipes and more information, visit the website milkmeansmore.org and usdairy.com, just like the good doctor said.